Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Broads. Quite frankly, I'm disappointed. Quite frankly, I'm upset with the league for forcing the 76ers to play. It doesn't make sense. They planned for issues to occur. When you talk about the offseason and Adam Silver and everybody else involved, they came up with a philosophy where if games had to be postponed, if an outbreak happened, they had a second half of the schedule to make things up. It would be easy to fix those issues because you would pretty much remake an entire schedule based off of what happened in the first half. So they were smart. They were thinking ahead. They were engaged. And then when it actually plays out, you go against that? That's where I'm having a problem. And don't even get me started with this contact tracing bullshit. It doesn't add up. Seth Curry was around everyone. The guys who played today, the guys who weren't able to play today. Seth Curry was around the entire squad. Not only the teammates, the coaching staff, Doc Rivers, the assistants. He didn't play due to an ankle injury, right? This was the last game I'm speaking about. So he was around the medical team, the training staff, and so were other players. Do you see where I'm having an issue here? When you look at the pros and cons of squeezing in this game, here's your one pro. You squeezed in a regular season game. Whoop-de-doo! Here's your cons. You don't know who has it. No matter if they test negative or not, you don't know who has it. Last game, Seth Curry found out he tested positive in the middle of the first quarter. So don't tell me it's impossible for one of these guys playing to have it. So here's your con, and it's a big major one. Someone has it, they're playing the game, they give it to an opponent, not even just their opponent, but they can give it to somebody else on their own team. They go home to their families, they give it to their wives, they give it to their kids, they give it to their mothers and fathers, and then it snowballs. So you're telling me finding a way to play a game against the Denver Nuggets is worth the possibility of what I just laid out. It's nonsense. And when you look at the track record of this league, they do normally good things. They normally find a way to put their players first. I know finances drives a lot of sports, but the NBA is normally the one that has a good relationship between the Players Association and the owners and the commissioner, and they find ways to put their heads together to come up with the proper outcome. Yet somehow this one slipped through the cracks. And I feel Doc Rivers not playing Ben and not playing Joel Embiid is a big middle finger. Seriously, he was making a statement by not playing those guys, no matter what he claims. This was the quote from Doc Rivers about Ben and Joel. Ben in the Brooklyn game had some knee stiffness, so we almost probably knew after the game that he wouldn't play tonight. And then Joel started complaining about his back, started yesterday, and we didn't know if he was playing or not, but honestly, with the minutes we would have asked, it would have been insane to play him tonight. Now, there's two ways to look at that. I do look at it some with I think Doc Rivers was trying to seriously flip off everyone involved and say, you're going to force us? Fine, it's going to look even uglier than you would have imagined because we're rocking Dwight Howard, Danny Green, Tyrese Maxey, Matthias, Isaiah Joe with two guys on the bench in Bradley and Reed. So you thought it was going to be ugly before I scratched these two guys. It's going to get even worse. But the other half tells me there's probably something to be said about Joel Embiid. It's nonstop every year, and yes, it bothers me. He said that Joel started complaining about his back. There's probably something to that at the same time. So it's probably a little bit of both. We're going through the same story, the same issues, the same problems with Joel Embiid that we do every single damn year. And how much of that is just being unlucky? How much of that is being a 7-footer running up and down the floor at an NBA level constantly? And how much of that is the coach saying, you're really going to do this? You're seriously putting us out there? You're a joke. I'm a little annoyed, if you can't tell. But here's what I do know. Tyrese Maxey played a hell of a game, and that's where we begin. But first, We are broadcasting live, as always, from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. Most will look at the 39 points. Most will look at how many shot attempts he had. And most would look at the confidence in his game. They all matter. And we will absolutely discuss every facet of the game when it comes to what he did against the Denver Nuggets. But something else stands out to me first. Something else is crucial when I see that stat sheet. And the number is 2. My man played 44 minutes and had two turnovers. And keep in mind, he's running around with a lot of guys that he's probably not playing with too much. He's not rocking and rolling with Matthias and Isaiah Joe to this elite level. It was essentially a game of go have fun, go play, show me what you got. Doc Rivers will coach you around the game, and he'll give you some input, and he'll give you teaching moments, and he'll have his fingerprints on things. But go play. He'll coach based off of what he sees out there and based off of your natural tendencies. Let me see what you have. Let me see how you normally play, and I'll give you some pointers from there. So just go do it. Just go run up and down and make some plays. And with that mindset, 2 turnovers. In the first half, he had 22 points on 19 shots with 0 turnovers. Last game, he had over 20 minutes with 0 turnovers. You know what that tells me? He understands the game. He's smart. He's not forcing too much. He's taking what's given. He's not trying too hard. He's not overthinking situations. So I'm not saying he's perfect out there. You know, I thought at times maybe he would try and take it to the rim where it wasn't the best. There was someone challenging, going up with them, and it got blocked and rejected pretty easily. I'm not saying he has 0 flaws, but the amount of turnovers, the lack of turnovers because of Tyrese Maxey is outstanding. The kid is 20 years old. I don't care who's out there on the floor. I don't care what the scenario is. That's impressive. That shows me he understands the position. And that goes to something else Doc Rivers said. It wasn't about hunting shots. And that's saying a lot considering he took 33 shots. But it wasn't about him hunting. He was running the offense because that's what he can do. And some are seeing his skill set and claiming, you got to find a way for this kid to get more minutes. He has to legitimately play when everybody else is involved. And I'm not against it. And I am willing to see. I know everyone says that this is what you anticipated out of Markelle Fultz. I'm going to go a step further. I think this kid could be even better than what you ever imagined Markelle Fultz being. Like, this kid is a stud. This kid has it. He's not afraid. He's willing. The moment doesn't look too big. He looks comfortable out there. 18 of 33. He had a missed layup at the end to try and get his 40th point. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for that bucket. I was so juiced up. I was ready to fist bump. Damn, missed the layup. I really wanted him to get it. So we finished with 39. But he grabbed 7 rebounds, had 6 assists as well. So getting his teammates going and working on the glass. Not only that, came up with a couple steals as well, specifically early when the Sixers were still hanging in there. He was active with his hands. Reed ended up getting a big, I guess it was a deflection by Maxey. Reed gets the ball by the sidelines, throws it to Maxey on a fast break. He gets a big dunk. The Sixers held in there for a limited amount of time. After the first quarter, they were only down 2. It was 28-26. You didn't know if it was sustainable. You pretty much figured it wouldn't be because it's not as if they have a bench to go to. These guys were going to be logging in an insane amount of minutes. That fatigue would eventually settle in, and the Denver Nuggets would have a bunch of players to play with that you're just going to run out of gas. You'd run out of steam. Right before the first half ended, Denver went on a push. They took the lead. They went for a run with it, and the Sixers never really found a way to get it back. They were down 7 at the half. Third quarter, super explosive for the Nuggets. Gary Harris, Jokic, Murray, they put it together. It's a shame. I would have loved to have seen a Joel Embiid versus a Jokic matchup. And that guy, Jokic, he's phenomenal. grade A. A plus. And you know what the best part of his game is to me? His passing. His passing from the big man. The dude is all over the place getting his teammates going. Now, he can score. He can rebound. He can do a lot of things. His passing is stellar. And it's not the same version of passing that I'm talking about with Joel Embiid and how he operates with the double team and how he's doing a better job at passing the rock. It's not the same style of passing. He's legitimately running offense, and his vision tops Embiid's by a mile. I'm impressed with how Embiid has taken that next step and how he is starting to get better in that area. But the way Jokic does it is at an all-time high, and I wish we could have seen the two bang down low in the post on the low block. I could have seen Joel Embiid dribble in his face and take a mid-range J. Nothing but net. But sadly, that wasn't the case. So going back to Tyrese Maxey, because I'm just not stunned, I'm just very thrilled. The 39 points did it in so many different ways. The floater is clearly something he is very comfortable doing. He can attack the rim. He is willing to go to the basket no matter who is in the lane, for the good or for the bad. Like I said, there are times I feel that he forces it, but he's willing. He's unafraid, and the body control as he goes up is unreal. It's stellar. It's the difference in making baskets and not making baskets. One of my biggest issues with Ben Simmons is he never looks comfortable near the bucket. It doesn't flow right. He doesn't have touch. Tyrese Maxey has it all. He's got it all in his bag. It's just about now growing physically. It's about continuing to work so he can be even more efficient than he already is. He has it all in the bag. He has every intangible that you need to become a starting player in this league. It's just about continuing to work, continuing to battle, continuing to play, and continuing to prove. He's working on his three-point game. And I thought Allah said this best during the broadcast. I do think at times Allah says some things where I question. For example, if somebody gets elbowed in the face and they're gushing blood, someone on the other team, let's say, he go, "Oh, that wasn't a foul. What are you talking about?" Allah, the dude's gushing blood and bleeding out of both of his nostrils. It's a flagrant, dude. I mean, he really does do it all the time. But he did pick up on something that bothered me a bit, and he stressed it, and I definitely want to talk about it. The lack of shooting from Tyrese Maxey. That was a big knock on him before he got drafted. He's 20 years old. At the time of the draft, it's fair to say that someone isn't the best shooter. But to act as if that's not something someone could get better at is outrageous. At the time of the draft, if you're studying his tape at Kentucky, and if you're studying who he is as a player, and you say he's not the best shooter in the world, that's fine. To say the kid can't shoot and will never shoot, that's another issue. So if you look at a kid with his skill set and you go, well, he's not the best shooter in the world, but we can fix that, we can work on that, we can develop that, why would you ever pass on it? It's in there. It's about getting it out of there. As if when you draft a guy at 20 years old, that's who he's going to be forever. No, that's ridiculous. And that's why with Ben Simmons, now I'm getting frustrated. And as I said, the clock is ticking and the heat is up and the water is boiling when it comes to my frustration towards Ben, because I haven't seen it to the degree that I like. But that's why the people 3-4 years ago that said this is who Ben is, you might get lucky because it might be who he is, but to act as if a player can never develop, they develop more times than they don't develop. The Ben thing is irritating as all hell. All hell. But give these guys opportunities. Ben, it's outrageous. Some are calling for Tyrese Maxey to take his job. Now, that's a little absurd. I like Tyrese Maxey. Is he ready for something like that now? No. And you can't take Ben Simmons off the floor to that level. And I know some guys are going to be trying to move pieces around. Well, maybe you take Danny Green off and do this and do that. Look, Tyrese and Shake Milton, you want to talk about depth? You want to talk about what this team has from having options? I think you can do a stellar job with Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton as your bench pieces right now and keeping the unit as constructed, because you saw when they are playing together, it's been very fluid. It's had some good flow. They've been getting good looks. They've been generating great chances. I am so thrilled and so pumped and so excited to keep watching him play. And I think Maxey has put himself in a spot where he does deserve more minutes. But to just scream that Ben Simmons shouldn't play anymore and he should be a bench piece and this and that. Sixers Twitter is just out to kill Ben Simmons nonstop. I truly believe that Sixers Twitter is significantly worse than Eagles Twitter. It's way more toxic, and that's hard to do, especially in a year that we have experienced this season. It's actually really brutal. All right, so who else had some great play? I thought I saw things out of Paul Reed early on, getting O boards, creating chances, Energizer Bunny. Isaiah Joe, first quarter, awesome. Knocked down a couple threes. He even had one mid-range jumper that I really liked. After early on, though, things really died down for Isaiah Joe. He's someone who I think just needs to continue to play. Sadly, I don't know if that's here on the big squad. I know the G League is doing something with the bubble and things of that nature. He's a kid that I feel could be like Shake Milton. Shake Milton played in the G League, and he really developed. He grew as a player, and now look at him. Well, I think Isaiah Joe has the three-point shooting ability. I just don't know if he's going to get as much run as he needs to right now, and he would do a better job and be able to work more on his craft if he was actually getting to play more basketball. We'll see how they rock and roll with Isaiah Joe moving forward. It's clear they liked what he was able to do when they selected him in the second round, and that's, oh yeah, shooting the basketball and creating space. I just think he needs more run. He needs more opportunities to play, and I don't know if that's with the big squad, with the 76ers, but he showed you something in that first quarter. It died down a bit. You had Danny Green playing point guard at one point. Danny Green, that guy can't dribble the basketball. That guy can't really create much. He would dribble up, but he would pop a three. Danny Green running point. That's laughable. It's a joke. You can't be running him at point guard. Sadly, the league put you in that situation. All right, let's hear a word from my sponsors at DraftKings. Playoffs. You want to talk about playoffs? That's right. Football's playoffs start this weekend, and there's no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. If you haven't checked out the app yet, there's no better time to sign up and start cashing in. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new players a deposit bonus up to $1,000 when signing up using promo code BROADS. Check out their DraftKings Sportsbook app every day this week to cash in on their daily odds boost. New boosts are posted every single day for all the biggest sporting events. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code BROADS when you sign up and get up to $1,000. That's code BROADS to get a deposit bonus up to $1,000. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only, in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, well, there is a takeaway that I need to discuss. Dwight Howard is always in foul trouble. How many times is this guy going to foul, and foul again? One of the big things that Dwight Howard provides is somebody who can step in, step on the court, be a factor, bring that intensity. He brings a professionalism when it comes to the screening, and he's a pro's pro out there, but he can only give you such limited action because he's constantly getting you into foul trouble. He gives you that opportunity when Joel Embiid needs a rest. The issue, though, is going to be games where Joel Embiid is not on the floor. These regular season games when Joel Embiid is not available, he's banged up, the back hurts, load management. I don't know what you're going to do. You're going to have to run some of these younger players behind Dwight Howard, but there is a big drop-off. Dwight Howard constantly gets himself in trouble. Now, he hits Jokic in the face, and then he's complaining, putting his hands up, cursing to himself when he's on the bench. Dude, you hit him in the face. You might not have liked that you hit him in the face, but you absolutely put your elbow in his face. That is a foul. You can't do that. You always get into foul trouble. I love Dwight Howard. I think he's everything we could have ever imagined and some. He was putting up shots after this game. He logged a lot of minutes. He was the starter. He got into foul trouble, but he played. He played a good amount. What did he do? Afterwards, he set the tone. He sent the message. He did what he's been doing all season long. He showed this is professionalism. This is what you do. You want to take the next step? You want to be successful in this league? Put in the work. There's never enough time. Don't be satisfied. There's never enough time. Does that make sense? I'm trying to say something similar to this. You can always try and perfect your game. You can always take shots. I don't care if you just played. I don't care if you just started. I don't care how many minutes you logged. Work. So from that standpoint, love it. But come on. There's no way that you can just throw that part out. That he's constantly fouling guys, having to go on the bench. Now, what does that mean in a game where Embiid's going to give you 30-plus minutes in the postseason? Not much. Although we are talking about a guy that fouled out of a game in 15 minutes of play, which is absurd, which is very hard to do. So you never know. Don't rule it out. Let's just go as far as that. I guess it is possible. If there's anyone to do that, it's Dwight Howard. But it's so crazy. At times, I'm blown away. I shouldn't be because it's a common theme, but every time? You're telling me every time. He picked up his fourth foul. The lead goes to 17. And it's not as if in this game I was that worried or that was the big difference. No, it wasn't. This team didn't have the ability to compete with a healthy squad. Although the Nuggets missed Michael Porter Jr. I'm a little disappointed because I want to see this team healthy, full throttle, face another team that is healthy and full throttle, and that is good. And when I looked at the schedule, I saw the Brooklyn Nets. I saw the Denver Nuggets. I saw the Atlanta Hawks. I saw the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat are not even playing good basketball. They're playing bad basketball. Jimmy Butler is talking to the media, calling guys out, saying me and Bam, we're not playing well. We're not playing like we're supposed to. So it's not as if they're even a hot team. But now you get thrown this, and what does this mean for the rest of the schedule coming up? What if you have to play 5, 6, 7 games like this? What's going on with the contact tracing? What's going on here? What's going on with Seth Curry? Is anyone else going to pop up with the positive test? What happens if they played somebody on the other team that ends up testing positive? You saw something very similar with Bradley Beal. What happens then? You know, it doesn't only have to be if the Sixers test positive. What if their opponent has someone who tested positive? Then here comes the contact tracing again. It really is a legit nightmare right now, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. It seems to be snowballing into worse and worse and worse, where teams around the league are having to deal with it. And if it keeps getting ugly, and if it keeps going at the rate that it is, you might have to talk about a whole new system here. Because you can't do this. If this is how it's going to be every single night, sorry, you need to address. Here's the problem. The bubble worked. Nobody wants to do the bubble. I don't think the bubble will ever be a legit conversation for a long period of time. If it needs to be for an NBA Finals or for an Eastern Conference Finals, I think you might be able to get away with it due to playoffs. But if you're talking about a 72-game season, I don't think that's even in the conversation whatsoever. The NHL guys, for a fact, said, no way, nope, we are not doing that. And as you see, the Dallas Stars are having an issue. The Columbus Blue Jackets are having an issue. The Pittsburgh Penguins are having an issue. Oh, sheesh. I want sports back at a normal pace, you know? Like, I don't have to deal with this. I want to sit down, have the microphone in my face, fix it, play around with it, put it properly where it needs to be, and break down Ben, Joel, Tobias, break down an NBA game, break down real sports. I don't want to be starting it off screaming about how they shouldn't have played this game. Yeah, the COVID fatigue has settled in, if you couldn't tell. It really has. Every single time I refresh my phone, it's Shams this, Woj that. And now I'm going to end this on such a negative note when it shouldn't be. Let's try and spin it positive, bros. Why don't we? Yeah. Let's do that. Let me tell you about my friends at Orbit first. Orbit Energy and Power. They're the best. And then we'll end it on a nice positive. So how about this? With over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, Orbit Energy and Power is home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. They offer flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So make sure you check out their information. It is all down below in the description. Here's your positive. I saw a team fight, I saw a team battle, and I saw a young stud in Tyrese Maxey really show something. And I think it's getting to the point where he's so recognizable, he stands out so much, and he's doing exactly what you need him to do, to the point where he's forcing the coach's hand. Coach, play me more. Coach, look what I can do. If you play me this much, if you play me more than you have, you're going to get better production. You're going to get great production. Now, here's one thing I will say. He took 33 shots, right? If you're talking about playing him more with the top dogs, with the top guys, you're not going to have Tyrese Maxey taking shots like that. I know Doc said he wasn't hunting shots, but it was very obvious and clear at times that he had the green light as if, Tyrese, go play, do you. But you're not going to have Tyrese doing all this and then keeping Joel Embiid off the scoreboard, keeping Joel Embiid in an area where he's not getting a lot of touches, or Ben Simmons going to be limited on fast breaks. I like the fact that he took control. This is the way to look at it. In a time where he had the ball in his hands like he did, 44 minutes, didn't turn the ball over, in a time where he had the ability to make a statement, he really did. And when he was the guy out there, because everybody else was kind of either their role players like Danny Green, who only have that one skill set of spacing the floor, or if it's an Isaiah Joe, a Matthias, guys who are not ready yet, who are just getting thrown into the fire due to circumstances, with all of this playing out the way that it did this afternoon, he said, I got this. He said, this is on me. He said, I'll take the shots. I'm willing. I don't care. I don't care if I'm going to take shots all game long. Now, Doc's saying he didn't hunt those. Maybe they came naturally based off everything. But I love the initiative. I love the mindset. I love the aggressiveness out of him. I can't necessarily say this will relate, though, to playing this way when there's a bunch of guys. He's always active. He always has this similar mindset. The difference is he doesn't play as many minutes, so you don't see it throughout a duration of a game. But I would imagine you're not going to see 33 points if the dude logs 40 minutes in normal action, let's say, right? But even in the first half, when I saw the stat line afterwards, 22 points, 19 shots, and 0 turnovers in the first half. 19 shots. It's as if his approach to the game, and when he was mentally preparing to go out there, he set his mind to something, and then he actually accomplished that goal. That's big for a 20-year-old going up against some legit talent. There were plenty of moments when he was out there with the other players on the other team who are significant in this league. Not afraid. It's a great, great, great thing to see. Last season, we saw Murray and we saw Jokic take that next step in the playoffs. They didn't get to the end result, but they took a significant jump, right? Jokic and Murray is very relatable to Embiid and Simmons. The difference is, I think Murray really elevated his game. Murray became a different version of himself. He really adapted, he adjusted, and he's balling. We're still waiting for that out of Ben Simmons. He has not done that yet in the area that we need him to. You're seeing Jamal Murray and Jokic do it at a quicker pace than the guys here in Philly. That's no good. That's not solid. I don't like that. That doesn't make me happy. What makes me happy? Seeing those jerseys. When they first dropped, I was like, eh. When I saw them out there, though, I was like, yeah. Those are fresh. Those are dope. I really do enjoy those. I like them a lot more than I thought I did with the first initial Twitter release. So how about that? All right, there you go. Unfortunately, I had a lot more expectations a couple of days ago for this matchup, and it was more of a casual watch and not as exciting. But, you got to see Tyrese go out there and make some plays. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.